bet you'll come around, but don't get me wrong. Do what you gotta do what you gotta do. I feel it in my bones like you'll come along now. To the big scene, take it all. Go for hope and glory. Go long. Baby, for love, go all for love. We're going for love, for beating hearts off the charts. Love, go all for love. We're going for love, baby, going for love, baby, for love. I bet you'll get it right, but don't get me wrong. Say what you gotta say. Say what you gotta say. Go like a satellite, just go like a star now. Say what you gotta say. Say what you gotta say. Take it to the big scene, take it all. Go for hope and glory. Go long. Baby, for love, go all for love. We're going for love, for beating hearts off the charts. Love, go all for love. We're going for love, baby, going for love, baby, for love. Take it to the big scene, take it all. Go for hope and glory, for beating hearts off the charts. Take it to the big scene, take it all.
I'm not making light of this. We have seen the light, and now we are going to enlighten you. I'm Sandy,
And I'm pained, and John. I'm John.
and this is My Lady Disdain with your Smart Doll News.
Okay, we are back. I believe we are on mic this week. Yeah, so that was a lot of puns there.
Yep, 3, just like
One after
hammered
the-
them right
yeah,
in there.
I felt it.
Yeah,
Felt it here.
yeah.
Felt it right here. So we've got some stuff to talk about, but before we do, I want to tease a couple of things. We are looking at moving the time for the live stream.
For a second, I thought you were going to say we were moving, and I was like,
Yes, because I'm going to announce that on our live stream.
when we've never talked
Never
about it.
discussed it. Yeah, I bought a house. It's in Florida. And we're good. We've decided to age 40 years and retire. Yeah, so we are changing our formatting a bit with the whole channel. We did a ton of unboxings last year, spent probably way too much money, loved it, but we really want to start focusing on more creative content. To that end, as you may have seen this year, we haven't been doing a video every single Saturday. Of course, we are here every Tuesday live streaming with you. So I want to make sure that from an editing standpoint, and for my job on the channel, that I am giving the best experience for the Smart Doll News for everyone who cannot show up. Before, there was no way I was going to do that. This was, let's just get it live, let's get it out there. We've got a video to do every Saturday. But if we're going to be pulling back on that a little bit, and not necessarily producing a video every single Saturday, I'd like to, give a video to people that they're actually going to watch and, watch through and not just kind of skip around trying to figure out what we're talking about and when we're talking about it. And,
Right.
Given that plan and working around Danny's sort of news cycle, which is kind of Tuesdays through Saturdays.
Something like that, yeah.
We're basically looking at live streaming, somewhere between Saturday and Monday, something like that. So if you go to our channel, you can see we've actually put up a survey about this. So let us know. I've got 3 dates and times of when you would prefer, so that we can make sure that we're serving. We want as many of you to be able to join us as possible. So
yeah, and we thought switch. We don't know, but switching the date and time might be like easier to get some people that are not in the U.S. to join us.
I think it all depends on where you live, and of course, we're not going to please everybody. There's no way we can, but
right.
We've given some dates that work within our life, that we can make work, and we'll see who the majority, or where and when the majority wants to do it. So yeah, then once I'm, got a live stream in the can, I will try and do a quick edit down on, get rid of a lot of the cruft and make it a lot more palatable and easy to digest.
Yeah, because sometimes we run on.
And it does also give us the freedom to run on a little bit more.
Right. So for those of you who like to join us and share in our little banter that we have, then you'll get to see it, and everybody else will get to see the edited version. Yep,
and I won't feel like the need to try and push us through let's shoot for half-hour videos, which is really hard on a live stream. Mm-hmm. And we can be okay with an hour, knowing that I'm going to be cutting it down to just the meat of it.
So the other side of that is that we were just talking about, we just touched on the fact that we haven't been doing a video every week. We know that you guys want to see a lot more creative content from us, more sewing, more little stories, things like that. We've got John's story to work on. So it might help us to be able to only do a video every 2 weeks and maybe throw in an unboxing here and there. But for our big videos, they will be more produced and happen less frequently.
So we're going to experiment a little bit. I'm also going to try and see, tonight's stream may be a sign that it won't work, but I'm going to try and see if we can start doing 4K streaming, because that is the quality of our normal videos, and it would be nice to get that quality up as well. Mm-hmm. But either way, bear with us as we figure it out, and do let your voice be heard. I just want to make sure that when we change the date, that we're not going to drop from we've normally got 40 to 50 people coming in here. I'd like to make sure that we keep that crowd, because we love you guys.
And it's much more fun to do this with an audience than,
This is true. That's sort of what I technically meant by I love you guys, but I was being nice about it. Yeah, that is us. And this is, there it goes. This is being very slow. And we are going to get into the actual regular Smart Doll news now, which is a couple of new and strange things, and something that I think we might have found that I'm not sure anybody else has necessarily seen. Which is why we're seeing a lot of people with confused questions in the chat when they first log in. So let's get into it. Starting off with our the main article. It's not even really an article, but the main post that Danny put up this week. It's the only one he did. It is this pretty cool poster for the Mirai Millennium, and it says simply, "The Mirai Millennium Saga begins." The idea of this could have been the main thumbnail, the main title for us this week, but there's nothing else but this.
Yeah. And he's been talking about this for so long, and we keep seeing glimpses of the suits. At least every month there's something with the suits. Yep. So it wasn't as intriguing to us as what we actually ended up with for the headline.
But it does. I feel like it is Danny saying it's coming. Mm-hmm. We've got Imagine here, I believe. I believe that is Imagine. And is that Liberty? Mm-hmm. So we've got a current girl and a new girl. We've got the new solar marine uniforms, some new belts and things. We haven't really seen. I mean, I think we've seen them on occasional doll, but we haven't seen them like being made or anything.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
We love stuff like this. I know we used for the Fates video. We used a wizard's belt that I bought from like a 1/3 scale doll, accessory maker that does like fantasy stuff.
Yeah, that was draped all over Lachesis, our reflection.
And so I love to see like the multiple belts going through like the side pockets and everything. Kit Kat Crafts K-pop says it's a Pokemon card holder, which.
It's a snacks holder.
Yeah, right. It's Pocky. You're gonna put some Pocky in there. So you've got. I think this is just an official announcement, but no dates, as Danny doesn't really. Danny rarely does dates. I was gonna say he doesn't do dates, but he does.
Once in a while, we get a date for something.
And that was like Supergirl.
Yeah, Supergirl. We got told a bit ahead, like 10 days ahead or something like that, and what the date was going to be.
He's been prepping for this for a while. And I just think this is his sign that, it's coming soon. If I can zoom out. So that was it for his like Instagram posts. On the timeline, we can start to see a couple of things. We've got this interesting 3D print happening. Mm-hmm. Now, I thought at first that this was just a print of a head. But Sandy thought a little bit differently.
Yeah, it looks like if you go from the ear to the chin, it actually looks like it's not a full head. It's like the front of a head. And
I thought there could be stuff like behind the struts here that is just hidden from view. But I think now, looking at some of the later pictures we'll show, that this is actually a faceplate. Mm-hmm. Another somewhat big deal, or a blast from the past, the ATX computer bicycle, like Akira sort of bikes, is back.
It's kind of fun. We don't use PCs, but...
I mean, I have a PC. I haven't had a PC game that I, like, have felt the need to, like, resurrect it and, like, put a new graphics card in it or something like that. I would probably buy this case just to have it.
They're kind of fun.
But you do kind of want all the stuff and the fans and everything. So, but I don't know. I might be able to scrounge a graphics card out of something and just put it in there.
Piece it in there.
Yeah. So he is supposedly selling these. I mean, we're just seeing these. It's been almost a year. I think it was maybe like 10 months ago or something like that I think he first teased this. Mm-hmm. And he definitely had intents to sell. It looks like it's takes a while for them to really make it. And judging by this, I'm wondering just how many he actually has. Lee says, I would have this case and make it look like Cloud's bike. I mean, there's a lot of fun things that you could do with this case.
Yeah.
Especially if you start modding, on top of what's already there.
You could turn it into all different kinds of vehicles, actually.
So, yeah, you'll see a couple of photos of the ATX bikes. And if you don't know what ATX is, that's basically it's the format for PCs for, like, really small format PCs.
Well, I mean, you have to remember, Danny, too, did mention that he was that they're working on vehicles when he was talking about the cyborg design parts, too.
Right. So, I still don't think that this is that.
Right.
It's it doesn't look like he's adapting much of, like, the frame to be not, but I mean, I could be wrong. We'll have to keep our eye on that, but that certainly is a possibility that maybe he said, forget it, I'm going to make legit motorcycles for this and not make the computer case. Hello, Mirai. We had a look at this. Is this? I don't think we could figure out who this is. Whoever it is, she has a beauty mark. So maybe completely new sculpt. I don't know if it was the sculpt that we've seen a couple of times.
I don't know.
But this is, you don't get much of a look. The actual full frontal picture there is out of focus on the computer.
Actually, that's really cool because I have a mole on my face, so it's kind of neat to me.
So you need another mini you?
I just think it's neat that she has one.
No, it is very cool. I think he should do, I think he should do more beyond what he normally has done, which is just basically the eyes. Give more differentiation amongst the girls. Bethan says the upper lip makes him think of G5. Could be. It does have. I don't know. The lips. I mean, the lips to me look like a G7. They're pretty pronounced full lips. And he does so little with anything but a G7 for Semiriel now.
Yeah.
But if you have an idea of who this is, or we'll just keep our eye out for his stories to see if he actually puts a real picture up of her.
Maybe it's an actual character. I mean, is there an anime character that has a beauty spot?
I mean, probably. Magical Girl Kit Kat Gaming says, "You get yourself as many mini-yous as you want." I'm sorry.
Always count on you to back me up, Kat.
I forgot the girl. So let's keep going. We saw this being made. Here we have the actual kneeling, what we can only assume and have no other real guess other than
mannequin.
Yep.
Simply because the mannequin, oftentimes when you see them working on the dolls, they're on their knees like that, and that really is one of the most stable positions to put them in.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like 99% a mannequin because it's not posable.
Right.
This popped up, and you'll see this every now and then. Always pay attention to the patterns that are hiding in things. Mm-hmm. So lots of like thread options here and fabric options. Nice, lovely, like sort of muted tones.
I'm guessing that is spring for the Mori Girl set.
Yep. So you've got the picture of the coat from the Mori Girl set. And you can even see here, it says girl set. So clearly that's the Mori Girl set.
So I'm thinking it's going from top to bottom. It's pants, shirt, jacket. That's my guess.
I don't think so. And I think there's another picture this comes up, which we'll check in a bit, that I think may clarify that a bit. But, well, what do we have here? We've got face plates. These things are flat on the backs of their head, cut right behind the ears.
Originally, we thought these were just maybe a test for gray, and I guess that's still possible for testing the expressions, but
I mean, these still are. We know they're 3D printed, so
yeah.
I don't think the color really matters whatsoever.
But the one on the left is 3D printed as well.
Yep.
So it's like it's hard to say what this is, but I like seeing them flat like that. I don't know. It kind of looks like it might be a different design, like a different head design.
Well, yeah. I mean, if he's gonna do faceplates, then he's definitely got to make a completely different way the head goes together. Much more akin to how some of the resin BJDs have, where like the chin up through the top of their head comes off with like it has magnets that keep them on.
Yep.
Your
My Dear Mind doll.
Yep, your
has
Dear Mind
that.
doll has that. So we have let's see. Got more coming up. Again, here we have patterns. Sandy had eagle eyes on this. You might note based on these holes here, and even more easily based off of this label that says C.C. Which would be C2.
That is C2's jacket.
So if you want to start building a piece of it, he's got a lot of it out here. I mean, of course, you know, chunks of things are covered, but this is like the front facing of the jacket. And I'm assuming because you would double up and mirror these two pieces, right?
Yep.
So always really cool to see and try and decipher
There's the back
patterns.
yoke is up there by the keyboard.
Yep.
And...
Okay, so this is the back of the jacket.
Yep.
I don't know what those are.
I don't know. I can't think about it right now.
Maybe
collar, maybe.
Collar, yeah. Again, more shots.
Something in my eye.
Yeah. You all right?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. We're clear. More shots of those experiments with expressions, and holy cow.
Yeah, I love this. That full head. That expression is awesome. And does anyone identify her as somebody who is existing already? Because my brain is not computing it.
I don't. It's hard to say. I don't see anything off the top of my head. Beth is saying M1 and M2. Now we've seen those codes come up.
Yep.
Which I mean, maybe that may be. Well, this is a little bit different sculpting, right? So we have like the more round-eyed for like the M1 and or I don't know which one of those which at this point, but one of them is more round-eyed, one is more like the half-open anime-eyed. This is quite interesting.
I just love that full head expression. I just think she's so cute.
And it really shows me like he would do so well, I think, with expressions like
faceplates would be everything.
Yeah.
I mean, full heads, I will take full heads, but that still means you've got to take the head off, put a new wig on, put the wig back on, all that stuff.
Yeah.
A faceplate, you just pop off as you need it. I mean, it's just for taking photos.
Oh, yeah.
And for telling the story, to be able to have faceplates.
For our stories, faceplates would be amazing. And it would also mean that I would pretty much have to get all of our girls redone.
That's true.
Which would be horrible, but at some point worth it.
We might as well just pay Katie a full-time salary.
Yeah, we're gonna have to start. We're taking donations now.
Our Patreon is just
to pay Katie.
Yeah.
Here you go, Katie. You've got 40 expressions to make. So more bike shots. Wigs. I find this interesting because it's like, oh, what's going on? You can actually see sort of how they get all the layering like nicely laid down in their process, like pulling up a chunk of the wig, pulling up a bunch of wefts, and then getting everything combed out, setting everything down. I have no idea what's going on here. It basically looks like socks.
Yeah, they're closed at the bottom with a white back and have an elastic, like, ribbing top. But what's interesting is the one in the back is as the same thing, but it's actually bigger than the front one.
Yeah. It's It's really weird.
It looks like Tigger and Winnie the Pooh.
Abby says they look inside out, which they may very well be, and that would imply that the other side is black with orange stripes.
Yeah. I don't think they're inside out based on the swatches behind them.
Yeah. Yeah, this is very... you got me... I mean, it looks like a tiger, but then at the same time, it's just little
lines.
slashes. It's just lines.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? You got a stump, Danny. We see his tabby boot still working on that.
Yep.
We've got the coat for Solar Marine, more bike stuff, and okay. So Danny's been collecting. We've talked about his Stream Deck in the past. We talked about his obvious threat to our stream every week. He has actually now officially said with this camera that he bought it for Zoom meetings and to do more remote stuff, but he's actually going to start streaming. So we are going to see a Culture Japan, stream. Now, what could that look like? How often does he do stuff on video anymore anyway with the pandemic and just how swamped they are? Maybe this is his way of getting back into that video content and doing it more easily.
That was my thought. I agree with you on that. That it's probably easier for him to put informational, instructional videos and stuff out if he's just live streaming them and not having to have somebody help him produce something.
Yep. He could even do Q&As. There's a lot of really cool stuff that he could do.
He could join us on the Smart Doll News, do an interview.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Well, yeah, he doesn't technically need that setup to do that, but yes. You should totally do that, Danny.
Yeah, you should join us on the Smart Doll News.
But, even if he did, if he started just disseminating news that way, fantastic. I'm all for... watching that live and then turning on our own stream and gossiping about it with all of you guys. Yeah. So, I can't wait to see what he does with it. We will eat up as much content as you throw at us, Danny.
I miss Danny's videos.
Yeah.
We've watched them, pretty much all of them at this point,
yep.
After a year.
I think it's been a year since he's put something out. I think there was one... that 80s retro thing for what was it for? Glasses?
I don't remember what it was for, but he did do a retro sort of thing, and then but there was another short video that was informational, and I can't remember what it was.
There's been two maybe.
But yeah, I mean this week is actually, I believe, a year since we received our first dolls.
Someone's fact checker. Check our channel. What was our first video? Because that was basically.
Well, not our first video because we.
No, our first
smart doll video.
Our first smart doll video, yeah.
Opening our first dolls was our first one, and I'm pretty sure it was a year ago.
Well, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Pending fact check.
Right.
So yeah, welcome Danny to the world of streaming. Love it. And there you have the decision about the colors.
Not necessarily. This could be... I mean, he could be doing it again. This could be, one Maury Girl outfit, and he could be thinking another one.
But this is literally what you just said, so it supports everything you just said.
Yeah, but the color's different.
Is it?
Yeah.
It was like a pinkish one for the pants, a green one for the...
A light green one.
Oh, it was lighter green.
Yeah, it was almost like the Statue of Liberty fabric that I have.
So then, I think likelihood is he was... Considering what was on that, he was probably looking at options for the jacket only.
Maybe. Maybe.
Because that's all he had out there. All he had was,
You're right.
Just the jacket was visible.
Yep.
But if this is where he's gone, I'm going to guess that tan.
I think the lighter creamy color is
Yeah.
the best jacket choice. Yeah.
Now here we have this weird thing. This is like some sort of plastic frame with like leather inlays. I almost wonder if he could have done this easier than how he's done it. But this is basically a piece of his Mandalorian armor. And it's like I think on the show it's sort of like an embossed leather kind of look. But it's a piece that hangs down from the breastplate.
The best armor name we could come up with was a tacit.
No, tassets hang from the other thing.
And what was it? Started with an F. I can't remember what the other name is.
Folds
or something.
Folds.
Yeah.
Folds. So, yeah, you could consider this something akin to a fold, which is basically strapped below the breastplate, or the cuirass or whatever, and then you could have like things that protect the hips hanging off of that, and he does sort of the Mandalorian does sort of have that, but yeah. So this is more for his live action cosplay.
It appears as though we are seeing it. This image is it upside down, if I remember correctly.
It's this. Yeah, technically, this part would be up where the bottom part would be hanging from his breastplate.
Yeah.
And the bottom part would be hanging down towards his waist.
Right.
Here's what I think was our first line of the M2 in the wild. Now, what we weren't sure about this, like, I still don't know if the M2 actually is the one with the faceplates or the faceplates are completely separate. And is M2 Kanata, or is it just Kanata hanging out here for no apparent reason? Like,
Yeah. Kanata's there with a different wig on. She's basically got the Genesis wig on.
Yep.
I thought that she looked more angry, but
I think it's normal.
yeah, I think that's just normal Kanata.
I think it's the angle that, I think it's just the angle. So keep an eye out on the M2. It'll be interesting to see what girls actually come out that use that sculpt. I think we should actually think about, there's some resources out there, but maybe thinking about setting up a page for like tracking the sculpts and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, there is one in one of the Facebook groups in the files.
Yeah, in the appreciation, in the Smart Doll Appreciation Society, in the files section, there is a good tool. It is currently in the process of being updated, but I'm going to think about that.
Some of it's pretty accurate. I mean, you'll see dolls missing, but you won't see.
I think it's just new stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe try and put together a history. If that's actually something that you're interested in helping with, drop us a line on our Discord server.
Is it not working?
It's just
There it
really
is.
slow. Drop us a line on our Discord. You can join it at myladydisdain.com/Discord. And you will basically join a community of pretty fantastic people. We have mods. We haven't had any issues. I mean, I'm sure something will come up, but everyone's been so really, really nice. And yeah, if you are interested in, maybe helping out, maybe gathering data or whatever, or figuring out like what we need to do to make a good resource for the whole community, let us know on the server. So, moving back up, we have the rather weird, this basically is the master, I believe,
Yeah.
or the mold. I think it actually is the mold.
I think it's the mold. It's got that green seam line at the top there. I think that might be the mold.
They just pour it into there to make that. either that or this is the master and they make the mold from around it. But I'm pretty sure what the whole reason the flashing is there is because they pour the vinyl inside of it. I've been thinking, since I've been seeing a lot more of this stuff, I've been thinking about our Millennium Boot Masters.
Mm-hmm. I think this is actually the piece that goes into the silicone to make the mold.
Which would be the master.
Right. I think that's the master.
Yeah.
You don't pour it into the top of it. It goes... This goes into silicone. But I could be wrong.
No, I think you... That's what I'm still trying to figure out. If anyone has opinions, we definitely do want to try and make the Millennium Boots at some point. Mm-hmm. I would love to use the Millennium Boot Masters to make some like white versions and use those for our stories.
Yeah, that would be very cool.
So, getting towards the end here, and to our big story, which, basically is next. Welcome to the Light. Now, these they look like, it's hard to tell, look like almost the face plates or something, or they're actually just like two different sizes. This looks like a standard smart doll, and it's either just positioned differently or it's a pocket doll, but the reason we know what this is his layers over here, the different scenes or whatever. These are all named Yagami. Yagami Work in Progress, Yagami Ref, T6, which is my guess the probably his coding for that second sculpt.
But if you look, isn't the bottom one, the T6, isn't the forehead, the top of it wider?
I think it's just cut off differently because this is a thumbnail created automatically by the machine that's basically sizing it to fill. So if this is taller, it's going to size this to fit in this little square.
Okay.
And so it's going to end up making the whole thing a bit smaller. So I think this has a taller forehead than this does. And yeah, so based on the fact that this is Yagami, we believe, I think pretty clearly that this, and you can see his like actual, like maybe prototype or whatever of this, that this is Light Yagami from Death Note. Mm-hmm. And
I love the face sculpt. I think that's awesome. He actually looks like a guy.
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting to see how it translates because like AG never quite landed right with me for pulling that sort of more semi-real mature guy look. But we do have just to confirm that this is not like a
out
fluke.
of nowhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Back in 2016, Danny posted this on Twitter. He said, "Death Note is so good. You prefer Light or L?" Light would be the protagonist on the left, and L would be the antagonist on the right.
Bangtan Otaku says, "'Cause he is a guy." Yeah, I know he's a guy. I'm just saying, compared to some of the other boys that have been, he's more masculine looking. He's more classic guy in his face.
So back in 2016, he's asking about it, right? He's polling, seeing who likes what. And you could take that as, it doesn't mean anything. Mm-hmm. But the other places that I have found this come up, I don't know where this actually got posted on the actual Smart Doll site, but on somebody else's site, My Figure Collection, they have a picture of the 3D print of this sculpt. And it says Death Note Yagami Light. And then we also have notes on a post in Facebook from March 16th, 2020, where Danny is posting about the new wig for Chitose Multiverse. Mm-hmm. And there's some issues with it, and he's doing his typical thing of saying, hey, don't buy this. I'm going to hold off and make sure everyone knows these are the general attributes of this wig that you may not like. Sorry. Probably the lightness of it. I believe these are very light in terms of how much hair, because they're just perfectly covering what they were intended to cover. So you can't like start doing crazy stuff with the hair.
It's one of the best wigs. It's actually a really good wig.
Yeah. So down at the bottom, it says, I know that some of you will be disappointed, so to cheer you up, I leave you with a teaser of an up-and-coming smart doll. A bag of potato chips. Do note that his wig will have the same specs as described in the blurb. So it's going to have the same, similar issues or attributes like this Chitose wig. So do note, Death Note, but the bag of potato chips, for anyone who has seen Death Note, is it's a pretty funny scene. But the main character is basically figuring out how he's gonna take down this killer, and he's like, he's like vowing to keep killing, other killers, with his Death Notes, and he was like, but I'm gonna keep being a good student. So I'm gonna solve equations with my left hand, and I'm gonna put in people's names in the book with my right hand, and I'm gonna eat potato chips with both. Like, it's pretty ridiculous. I have seen a good chunk of the anime. Sandy has seen the live action.
I've seen the live action. I haven't watched the anime yet, so I kind of want to watch the anime.
Yeah, we should totally do it. So let's be real here, though. We've talked about like what we expect for like the licensed dolls. This is what I'll say is the second peak of this doll in 6 years.
Yeah. The first thought was in 2016, and now he in 2020 said it's coming, basically.
Yep. And
now we're almost a year later, and we're seeing more of it.
So very cool. I think the what we've seen is, in terms of the not that one, in terms of the sculpt, to me looks like one of the better guys that he's done.
Yeah, it's got refined features. I really like that.
And I am interested to see where the guys go in the future. Because he's been not doing them for so long. And we're waiting on like body redesigns and stuff like that. But so there's some good hope there. Sandy did want to point out, she wasn't sure if Misa Amane is one of those sculpts that haven't been seen, but I don't think so.
I don't think she is, but man, I would like to have her. She kind of reminds me of Buffy too. Like, she could. I'm betting that if he does do Misa Amane, that she could make a good Buffy as well.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, like this. That is very. I mean, that's somebody.
That's somebody's fan art, but
still,
it looks like Buffy.
Yeah, everything. The little pigtails and everything. Very cool. I think he did a poll. I think, where he was asking about like what order you wanted, like on one of the Facebook things that I found, and people were like, I think one person said basically, you should release like the girls from the show, like go with what you know and leave the protagonist to the last one just to torture people.
I mean, I just can't imagine. She's such a perfect smart doll girl. I can't imagine him not wanting to do her. But I mean, he does need more guys, so I can understand.
Yeah, doesn't need anybody, but because again, he knows how many guys he sells.
Yeah.
And how fast they sold. And I'm sure that goes into, why he didn't make as many and why he's taking the time that he has to get it right, and because and he's not necessarily hurrying on it.
And there's not enough, one thing, there's not enough clothes for the boys.
Right.
They don't get the time investment that the girls do.
Yep. And last little tidbit here is Cinnamon 40 coming back?
Yeah, because she's been gone for a while, and that looks like her on the.
Yeah, this is a
there.
mid paint.
Yeah.
Of 40. So, yeah. Lots of, I mean, as each week, no huge announcements. Lot of little sort of tidbits and progress.
I just
updates.
realized something.
What's that?
Semi-real 40.
Oh yeah, duh.
That's her. That she.
We sat there staring at this.
Yeah, and didn't even realize nostrils.
That is hilarious. And
there you go, Kat. Semi-real 40.
yeah. Kat, you have it. You got it first. At least compared to us. I mean, you were, I'm freaking out before we even realized what was happening. So
It took me a second. I was like, wait a minute. We were looking at her mouth. We were looking at the eye markings. And I was like, wait a minute. I think that eye socket is a little smaller. And then I looked at her nose and went, okay.
she has a nose.
News to me during the news.
Yep.
Yeah, no, she's definitely semi-real. And I didn't even see what Kat said.
Yeah, we were caught up on the differences between it in like tiny little ways.
Yeah.
To like, I'm like, well, but it's just mid paint, like, the mouth is, it's wider teeth. And I'm like, yeah, but that could be just perspective.
Yeah.
And it easily could, but yeah, no, we totally didn't get it.
That is semi-real 40.
So, Lee is calling out Magical Girl Kit Kat Gaming. What was that comment in your end of your video? No new dolls? Yeah. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how she comes out. She looks very much the same. And a lot of, and some of you may disagree with, but I am sticking with Mirai has turned into Future. Mm-hmm. There was more interpretation in Future.
In Future. Yeah. This is very clearly Fortitude.
Yes.
You can, and so many people thought Future was Fortitude that he probably said, geez, we better do semi-real Fortitude.
Possibly. Well, I mean, she's also, his one of his girls.
T40 is one of his girls. Yeah.
So I think that is very cool. And that's the nice thing about like the semi-reels and stuff is like, they've just got to make heads, this is a G7 sculpt. Just put her,
Mm-hmm.
They've just got to, I mean, it's not a small thing because we do, we know how much, time and energy has to go into making the face, masks for painting, the paint masks.
Mm-hmm.
But it is definitely something that I think once he's over that hump, then people are going to go nuts for.
She is going to fly. Like when he puts her out.
Yep.
Yeah, she's adorable. I probably won't get her because she looks very similar to Future. But
just what? Just because she's Sobakasu?
Yeah, and has a mouth open with teeth showing, and I mean she's G7.
She's got way more teeth though.
Yeah.
She has like, it is subtle on Future.
I might get her in T if she comes out in T.
Yeah.
I still have 4 T-tude on my list somewhere.
There is something though about the big anime eyes for Fortitude. Mm-hmm. So we'll have to see when she's done, what she turns out like. But so that is the last of Danny's news. I'm sure he'll be posting some more news tomorrow. And like I said, we're gonna maybe not next week, but probably the week after, look at changing the schedule. And so we'll give you a very clear announcement at if we're gonna do that like next time. But definitely check out the community tab on the YouTube channel and let us know what you want to see us do with the stream, whether switching to like Monday nights or Saturday or Sunday afternoon works better for you, and we will try and make you as happy as we can.
And don't forget, you can leave comments on there too. So I mean, if there's anything you would like to express to us about the stream, about the channel, about videos that we're doing and when we're doing them, feel free.
Yep. And so that is going to do it for us. Please help support the Smart Doll News. Help make this video get to more people. Just give it a like, and that'll make sure that it's spread to as many people as possible. And otherwise, that's it.
We'll see you again soon.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.